Entrepreneurs are defined by their ability to make things happen. They don't wait for opportunities, they create them. This proactive mindset is what separates successful entrepreneurs from the rest. However, making things happen doesn't mean working endlessly or being perpetually busy. It's about focusing on what truly matters and executing it efficiently. Imagine being given 24 hours to complete a project. The tight deadline forces you to prioritize only the most essential tasks. You have no room for procrastination or overthinking. Now, consider being given a week for the same task. Chances are, you'd spend 6 days overanalyzing and complicating the process, making the project far more daunting than it needs to be. If the deadline were stretched to 2 months, the task might become overwhelming, a mental burden that grows unnecessarily large. Ironically, the product of the shorter deadline often matches or exceeds the quality of the longer timeline due to heightened focus and urgency. This phenomenon is tied to Parkinson's law, which states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. When deadlines are distant, minor tasks and distractions creep in, consuming valuable time and energy. On the other hand, when time is limited, only the critical actions are taken, leading to more efficient and focused output. Similarly, Pareto's law, or the 80-20 principle, shows that a small percentage of tasks often yields the majority of results. Combining these two concepts can transform your approach to work and productivity. The key is to identify the few critical tasks that contribute most to your goals, whether they are financial, personal, or professional. Once you've pinpointed these tasks, set aggressive and clear deadlines for their completion. The combination of focusing on the vital few and imposing strict time constraints forces you to prioritize effectively and execute with precision. If you don't identify these mission-critical tasks or establish deadlines, the unimportant inevitably takes over. Minor tasks swell to fill your day, leaving you wondering where the time went. Without intentional focus, even seemingly small distractions, like dropping off a package, scheduling appointments, or responding to emails, can consume an entire workday. This is a common pitfall, one that I've experienced firsthand. For months, I allowed interruptions to dictate my schedule, feeling like I was being run by my business rather than running it. To break free from this cycle, regularly ask yourself 2 questions. Am I being productive or just active? And am I inventing things to do to avoid the important? These questions act as a reality check, helping you discern whether your actions are aligned with your goals or if you're simply keeping busy for the sake of it. True productivity isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. It's easy to fall into the trap of busyness, mistaking activity for progress. But running from task to task without a clear focus often leads to burnout without significant results. Instead, take a step back and evaluate your priorities. What are the few key actions that will have the most significant impact on your goals? Focus on these and eliminate or delegate the rest. Shortening your work time is an effective strategy for increasing productivity. When you have limited time, you're forced to concentrate on the essentials, leaving little room for distractions or unnecessary tasks. This doesn't mean rushing through your work, but rather approaching it with intention and focus. By setting clear boundaries on your work hours, you create a sense of urgency that drives efficiency. As an entrepreneur, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer number of responsibilities and demands on your time. However, not all tasks are created equal. Some will significantly move you closer to your goals, while others are merely distractions. To manage your workload effectively, start each day by identifying the top 3 priorities that will have the most substantial impact. Commit to completing these tasks before addressing anything else. It's also essential to recognize the difference between being reactive and proactive. Reactive work, such as responding to emails, answering calls, or dealing with last-minute requests, often feels urgent but doesn't necessarily contribute to your long-term goals. Proactive work, on the other hand, involves taking deliberate actions that align with your objectives. By prioritizing proactive tasks, you regain control over your time and focus on what truly matters. One of the most common challenges entrepreneurs face is the tendency to invent tasks as a way to avoid the more challenging or uncomfortable actions. These invented tasks may feel productive, but they often serve as a distraction from the work that truly needs to be done. Overcoming this tendency requires self-awareness and discipline. Regularly evaluate your to-do list and ask yourself whether each task is genuinely necessary or if it's a way to procrastinate on more critical work. Time management isn't about squeezing more into your day, but about making deliberate choices about how you spend your time. By limiting tasks to the important and setting strict deadlines, you can achieve more in less time. This approach not only increases productivity but also reduces stress, as you're no longer burdened by an endless list of low-priority tasks. In practice, this might mean blocking out specific times for deep work, turning off notifications, or delegating routine tasks to others. It could also involve setting firm boundaries around your work hours, ensuring that you have time for rest and rejuvenation. Productivity isn't just about what you accomplish. It's also about maintaining the energy and focus needed to sustain your efforts over the long term. Ultimately, the goal is to work smarter, not harder. By focusing on what truly matters, setting clear priorities, and using time constraints to your advantage, you can achieve meaningful results without falling into the trap of perpetual busyness. Entrepreneurship is about creating value and making an impact, and that requires intentionality and focus. By adopting these principles, you can make things happen and do so in a way that is both effective and sustainable.